Hello. At Nike, digital is a promise, and there's never been more promise or more potential in the digital technology that our society can create than today. Consumers not just hoping for a digital experience to blow them away, they're expecting it. And they know that there's incredible power in digital to solve the problems that they face throughout their lives. At Nike, we've been solving problems for our consumers since the earliest days. These solutions empower and inspire athletes to push themselves beyond their own expectations, to run faster, to jump higher, to redefine what an athlete is even capable of. Take Eliud Kipchoge, for example. You may not know his name, but he is the greatest marathoner of all time. We at Nike designed a technology in the Vaporfly 4% that was 4% more efficient than any running shoe had ever come before. Many people were skeptical, but last September in Berlin, Kipchoge laced up a pair of shoes with that technology and ran the fastest marathon in human history. He obliterated the world record. Today, it's hard to find a marathon winner's podium across the globe that doesn't have at least one pair of Vaporflies on it. This is life in the world of sport. When you work with athletes, helping them discover their own individual potential, you often find yourself working to redefine human potential itself. And as we at Nike take our historic strengths in sport and fitness and marry them with digital technologies that excite us today, we are able to take on problems that no other company can. Now, Nike may not be a familiar face at a conference like the Next Web, given our foundation in the physical world. But we believe that it is our understanding of the human body in motion that makes our digital solutions stronger, that makes us more likely to find the exact right solution when others can't. For us, everything starts with our connection to the consumer. In fact, consumers seek out relationships with Nike. This dynamic puts us in a position to understand athletes like no other brand can. Recently, Nike fundamentally realigned itself as a company in something that we call the Consumer Direct Offense, which puts a premium on building unbreakable relationships with our consumers. Now, to build the sort of trust that's necessary to create unbreakable relationships, we need not to just solve the problems that the athletes ask us to. We actually have to solve the problems that they don't even know to ask about yet. And when you look to solve real problems for real people with that level of deep understanding, then that's when you start to see some truly amazing breakthroughs. This kind of grounded problem solving is digital's true potential. And it's why we're all here at the conference today. We are surrounded by tools our parents never dreamed of: neural networks, machine learning, artificial intelligence, augmented reality. Now, these tools, when used to solve real problems, they can actually make the human experience better, more intuitive, simpler, more elegant. At Nike, this is our goal. Problem solving is actually inherent in our mission, which is to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. And by our definition, if you have a body, you are in fact an athlete. We don't make any distinction between consumers and athlete. To us, they're all the same. Now, with our vision to make sport a daily habit, we believe in improving the human experience on an everyday level. We found ourselves evolving over the years from a company that was setting the standard for innovation in footwear and apparel to a company that now does the same in digital products. Recently, our evolution into a tech company has felt more like a revolution, and one as that accelerated investment in digital has leapfrogged us into new spaces of epic opportunities. One of those epic opportunities can be seen as we build our membership program, which we call Nike Plus. It combines our traditional strength in obsessing the consumer with our more recent expertise in digital capabilities. Today, we understand our member base in large segments at scale while still serving them individually. And one of the areas where you can see this personal experience come to life is in our stores. This is our newest store concept, We call it the House of Innovation. We launched it last year in Shanghai and then in New York, and it's coming this year to Paris. Consumers still want to shop in physical retail, they just want to do it on their own terms. And our physical journeys in these stores, powered by the Nike app, allow the store to be personalized for each and every individual consumer. These journeys are so compelling that based on our early data, we're signing up a new member every 2 minutes. That is a constant flood of new unbreakable relationships being built. In digital, Nike's app ecosystem solves unique problems at scale that's practically unprecedented. The Nike app, as I mentioned, is our flagship shopping and content app. It is the #1 mono-brand retail app in both the US and Europe. Our sneakers app is the ultimate sneakers destination, and it's home to the largest and most engaged sneaker community in the world. The Nike Training Club is the largest app-based training community in US and Europe, and the Nike Run Club is the largest app-based running community in the world. Added up, these 4 apps now exceed $1 billion in demand. Just 3 years ago, before we configured into that consumer direct offense, that number was essentially 0. That's some amazing growth. As you can see, almost overnight, this has become the most effective means by which we can solve our athletes' problems. When we combine almost 50 years of sports expertise with the technology strength that we've developed, we're feeling pretty good when we look out at the landscape. Now, we know there's extraordinary opportunity in creating the future of sport. There's a global movement towards health and wellness. We can see the competition flooding in, looking to take advantage of this opportunity. But we at Nike are confident in the lead that we have built. In fact, we like to say at Nike that our biggest competition is between ourselves and our own potential. For one, we've learned many things in our path. And one of the most important ones is that too often technology is used in a way that reduces or even removes human interaction in the name of efficiency or convenience. We disagree with that. We believe that digital is more powerful, not when it eliminates human interaction, but when it elevates it. As the world leader in sport, we have an unrivaled array of expertise to offer our consumers, especially at retail with our sales associates, each one of whom is an athlete in their own respect. We continue to invest in empowering our store employees to provide their expertise. Other brands are looking to economize and automate. We're going the other way. Another lesson that we've learned in digital is at its best when it's emotional. Everyone's moving towards experiential services. Our competitive advantage is and always will be in the joy of sport. Our goal is to increase access to the emotion of our brand. And when people interact with Nike, whether it's online or in a store or just going out for a run, we want them to feel our authentic passion for activity, movement, and play. And third, we often see digital solutions in search of an actual problem to solve. You may hear this referred to as technology for technology's sake. At Nike, we are locked in on trying to solve the biggest problems for our athletes. Technology is a tool to solve a problem, not a way to dress something old up as cutting edge. Our history of innovation has told us you start with the problem in front of you, you don't start with the technology of the moment. And what's more, when you start tackling the truly difficult, near impossible problems, that's when you find technology's true potential. For example, we're not just experimenting around the edges of augmented reality, we're innovating in ways that prove that AR can actually solve hard and fast problems. Which brings me to my next example. We think that we have solved a challenge long believed to be impossible, a challenge centuries old, a very human and a very real issue: fit. So why is fit so important? Well, it starts with the foot. Your foot is actually a technology itself. It is a complex biomechanical device, and you subject it to incredibly demanding tasks on a moment-by-moment basis, especially when you're playing sports. Your shoes are there to help you improve your performance, but it's actually the interface between your foot and that shoe, in other words, the fit, that's key to achieving that performance benefit. If the fit is off, then peak performance is out of the question. So how big of a problem is this? Well, about 60% of all of the people walking around at any given moment are wearing the wrong size shoe. That's pretty bad. 3 out of 5 of you are probably in the wrong shoe. You can look at the person to the side of you, and one of those two is probably in the wrong shoe. I'm sorry to be the one to break the bad news. But we know that this is not a Nike thing. This is an industry-wide problem that causes mass consumer friction. And the reason is pretty fundamental. Every foot is different, and every style of shoe is different. Fit is a problem that's complex, it's global, and it's nearly impossible to solve for. So let's take a step back and figure out how we got here in the first place. In the early days of shoemaking, basically everybody got the same shoe, regardless of the shape of your feet, the type of the shoe. A cobbler would make one, and then he would make the same shoe for everybody else. Trust me, this was not a good time to buy a shoe. In the 14th century, there was actually an improvement. The industry tried to make the situation better by coming up with standardized sizing. That sizing was actually based on the width of a barley corn kernel. So every size is another barley corn. What's particularly interesting about that to me is our sizing system is still barley corn kernel based today. Now, I'm sure that choice in the barley corn kernel reflected the wisdom of its time, but I think we can all agree that it's time we move away from a technology that's essentially medieval. Moving forward, you're likely familiar with this. It's called the Brannick device, and it was an effort to improve the situation somewhat by taking that standardized sizing and applying it to a unique human foot by measuring length and width. It was invented in 1925, and it actually represents the last meaningful improvement in this space. But the problem is, the number that you get by using that device is not you. The truth is, you are not a number. As I said, every foot is different, every shoe is different. You may think that you're a size 10, but if you were to line up every individual shoe from any manufacturer in that size 10 and try it on, you would end up finding that your best fit could vary as much as 2.5 sizes. Sizing is a gross simplification of a complex problem. Or as we like to say, sizing is a lie. It's just the wrong approach. It's the wrong technology to actually solve the problem of fit. Because fit is a complex and inherently human problem. It's actually a multifactorial combination of the shape of your foot, the interior volume of the shoe, the performance intent of the shoe. There's a radical difference in fit expectation and performance needs between a football cleat and a basketball shoe. The materials and the lacings of the shoe play a major factor, as does your personal fit preferences. We're all human, we all have different preferences. So, as you've learned, this problem has existed long before Nike came around. In fact, since our founding, we've understood the performance implications of fit. Your shoe can't improve your performance if it doesn't fit you well. So as an industry leader, Nike is always looking to self-disrupt in the service of our athletes. So we've taken some swings, we've experimented, we've iterated, we've learned from each one. Each one brought us somewhat closer to the answer, but none of them solved it. And after our fair share of false starts, we realized that the unlock was actually fundamentally how we were looking at the problem. Our goal shouldn't be to solve or improve sizing. Our goal should be to transcend sizing altogether. Like I said, sizing itself is a lie. It hides the complexities of fit. Length and width is not enough. So I'm very happy to tell you that we did solve all of that with something that we call Nike Fit. So Nike Fit is a groundbreaking innovation that for the first time solves for every single factor of fit. It can be done at home or in a store, and it takes just seconds. So let me show you what this looks like for a consumer using the Nike app. I'm glad you guys like it. We are amazed. The team couldn't be happier on what we've been able to do, on how we've been able to solve this problem. And by the way, that's how you use augmented reality to actually help the consumer, help them solve a problem. You use it to map the 3D environment. You use them to guide and orient themselves so they can do a highly accurate measurement. But as simple as the technology is, let me actually dig into how it works and how we solve against all of those incredibly complex factors. So Nike Fit at its core delivers the right fit for you in every Nike shoe. It's a deceptively simple and easy solution, and it's got a whole host of bleeding-edge proprietary technology that together solves all of those factors. So it fuses computer vision and deep learning to first scan your feet just using a camera phone. It uses data science algorithms to establish your foot morphology, your foot shape, with dozens of data points captured with sub-2 millimeter accuracy in a matter of seconds. It uses machine learning to model that interior volume of the shoe, the performance intent of the design, the materials, the lacing, all of the considerations for every shoe in every size in Nike's entire inventory. And then it applies artificial intelligence to learn you and learn your own individual fit preferences. So how did we solve a previously unsolvable problem? Because we now take a different playbook. We use the playbook of a technology company. We found a brilliant startup in Israel called Invertex, who had a unique combination of expertise, talent, and proprietary intellectual property. We acquired Invertex and connected them to our teams of Nike sports researchers and footwear product designers. And then the combination of that incredible historic strength and knowledge and a cutting-edge, early-stage startup team, we were off to the races. We went from acquisition into the hands of our consumers and stealth pilots in just 6 months. And those stealth pilots occurred in 3 stores across the United States with real consumers and no publicity, with incredible consumer responses and substantial increases in conversion. We also utilized this for a super quick feedback loop from those store athletes, those employees, to back to the teams at headquarters, letting us iterate the technology incredibly quickly. It also became clear to us, we learned as we were doing this, that this experience itself actually heightened the in-store experience and expectations from our shoppers because they got to spend more time with our sales associates. As I mentioned, those sales associates, those store employees offer the best sports expertise and inspiration in the world. And by empowering them to focus on the real conversations with consumers, like helping them pick their first running shoe for their first 5K versus a detached mechanical interaction, that's when the magic really occurs. That's when we unleash them from having to run back and forth with stacks of boxes with different sizes from the inventory room, and instead simply connect human to human. But the domino effect of this technology and the data and insights that we gain from it is far greater than that. We expect that Nike Fit will and already has started to transform the way that Nike designs, manufactures, distributes, and markets our footwear. And then you combine the practical benefit of Nike Fit with the incredible possibility offered by our new adaptive footwear. Are you wearing smart shoes? Which adapts lacings to maximize importance with an intelligence lacing engine that neatly closes around your feet. Now you can get an idea of how Nike is creating a revolution in footwear by turning what was a fit problem into a massive performance benefit. In the end, our goal is clear. You're no longer a number, you're no longer a gender, you're no longer an age range on a box. It's just your name and the best fit for you, the very best performance and the very best fit. And we were able to do that because Nike is now a technology company, full stop. But combined with Nike's historic strengths and locked on exactly the same mission to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete. This has opened new worlds for us because we are now able to solve bigger problems at far greater speed. This is our latest and arguably our biggest problem that we solved to date, but we at Nike never rest. Like the athletes we serve, we push toward our greatest potential, redefining what's possible again and again and again. Thank you.